Hey everybody, it's Justin from Built, and if you know my channel, you know I love organization here in the shop, and I have this big wall back here saying Organize Me. So let's go ahead and build a double-decker cubby system. So on the bottom, I'm gonna add some drawers. On the top, we're gonna use a dado system so that we can actually adjust what we put inside here with dividers based on our needs. I'm always changing what I need to store in places, so kind of future-proofing things. You do things that are modular in here. It's also going to enable us to have a shelf to put some heavier stuff, bigger, taller stuff on top, and it's 1/2-inch pine plywood, so this is strong. We're going to be able to support a lot of weight. I'm happy to be able to use the P3 because now I can actually laser thicker materials that make more structurally sound objects here in the shop. As you might have seen in my last video with the P3, I made a solid 3/4 inch thick bookcase. So on this one, we're going to do some pine plywood. Today on Built. So to start with, let's decide on a size. Now, of course, you can change this to fit whatever needs you have. I'm going to show you all the steps in the process. So it'll be pretty easy for you to change dimensions if you like. My space is 3 feet long, and I'm trying to decide how tall to make this. I have French cleats. Most people will not have that, but you know, you can make it whatever height you want. French cleats make things really easy to move them around. So you basically put a cleat on the wall in this direction, and then you put a cleat on the back of your item, so they nest together. That makes it really easy to move things around. So anything that you have a French cleat system on, you just have modular tool holders everywhere, which is what I love. So since I've put my cleat here, I'll measure from the top of my cleat down to the bottom there, and that gives me about 11 inches. So that's what we're going to go with as far as the height of the shelf. That'll give me 17 inches above it. That's a lot of space for me to use it as a shelf, or I can still hang things up on the wall without hitting that shelf below, which is pretty good. Now, as far as how far out I want to come, I have a whole bunch of my F-series of xTool laser engravers here. I'm going to go 8 inches because I could move this somewhere else because it's on that French cleat. I could move it anywhere I want. I could put it right here where this shelf is later if I wanted to. I want to make sure I don't collide with my other lasers. Now, if you're not using French cleats, most of you will not be, you can still just screw this directly into the wall. It's not a big deal. Okay, so getting to building this cabinet. Now, I did the autopilot woodworker thing and broke down my material from my sheet of plywood right here on the saw. But then I just realized, wow, we are at the perfect size where you could feed this through the P3 and it will cut everything out for you. We are at 3 feet by 4 feet long on this piece of wood. So if you have the conveyor system for that, you can just feed this in. It'll all be done in one move. But I've already broken this down, and if you don't have the conveyor system and you need to just use the bed, this is the way you'll need to do it here. Here's my cut sheet in both imperial and in metric. Okay, let's design this. We're going to use a free website called makercase.com. They have a whole bunch of styles here that are cool. We're going to go with a grid divider box. And so we have a nice little 3D rendition of what our box is going to be. We are going to make our box 36 inches wide, so pretty wide there for this at least. We're going to, in this case, the height means how far it's coming off of the wall, so we're going to make that 8 inches. And then the depth in this case is going to be 11 inches. Now, right now, we have a whole bunch of dividers in here. I only want it to be 2 rows and 2 columns. My material thickness is 1/2 inch. And then we're going to take a look at flat or fingers. So the way this is attaching to itself are using fingers. And depending on how small you make these fingers and where they're located, they can be called box joints at the corners. There's a whole bunch of different woodworking terminology. The smaller the finger size, the more technical surface area that wood will be touching wood, interlocking with each other and giving you more surface area to put glue. Frankly, though, you know, you can get away with a little bit of a mid-size one. I wouldn't go all the way to, you know, really, really big ones, but these are going to be fine. The smaller you make them, the more laser cutting time you're going to have is essentially the thing to think about. So here we are. This is literally the design for this. It took me 30 seconds really to plan this out. And as long as you know your measurements, it's really easy to get a file. Here you see the file that it's going to give us to import into xTool's software. You can have it label things if you want to and whatnot, but there's one big thing we need to take a look at, and that is a thing called kerf. So we're going to pause here for a second to talk about that. To find my kerf, I cut out a rectangle right here, and what I need to do is just measure this rectangle. Okay, measuring the thickness of this rectangle, it is 10.5 millimeters. And then using the other side of my calipers, I'm going to measure the interior section, 11.1. When I take the 10.5 minus the 11.1, that gives us 0.6 millimeters, but that accommodates for two lines. Basically, I'm measuring two kerfs right here, two removals of material. So in order to understand what one removal of material is, we just divide the 0.6 by 2, and we're at 0.3 millimeters. That's what we should add into the software to give us a much tighter fit between two pieces. Okay, so here's my test cut, and I need to do two test cuts. If I just make one line right here, you're making kerf. So it's two separate pieces that click together. So basically, we remove that one, and so these two should perfectly fit. So it is perfectly together, and I can whack it. It's actually even a little bit too tight, so I might back it off just a hair, but overall I feel comfortable with this kerf number that I'm ready to continue. In my measurements, my kerf is 0.012. That was a little tight, so I'm just going to make it 0.01, give it a hair extra space. I do love on the xTool P3 the ACS system, and so basically I just close the lid, it scans everything, takes its photos, auto-adjusts the heights of the bed. It just makes the whole setup process really easy. So you can see we're cutting out all our pieces. All right, box is dry fit, everything is tight, so our kerf measurements were good. I know most of you have seen boxes and things like this before. This is nothing new in the laser world, but what to focus on is that the P3 did it with 1/2-inch plywood. That is a structural size material. I'm going to be able to put a lot of weight in this, and it's not going to bend and break and come apart. I've done a lot of these type of little box guys out of really thin material, and honestly, they break. So I'm glad to be able to use more, sturdy building grade materials. So we had a little bit of soot, more than I would like, on this cut. Now, as a reminder, I was able to cut clean without soot 3/4 inch solid pine. It's those layers of glue in here that are really tough to get through. But we didn't have any burning. We didn't have any degradation of the material. So I'm okay with this. Just means we're going to have to do a little bit more cleanup work with sanding afterwards. Before we do that, before we glue everything together, there's one big step we have to do. That is to put dados on the top inside and the bottom of the top of the divider right here, or the top of the divider right here. So this and this. That way I can insert dividers into this all the way across. To make our dados, we want to make an engraving. So what I've done is I've drawn a box, and I have made the width of this box 4.5 millimeters. The dividing material that I'm going to use is 3.5 millimeters. So I've scaled it up a little bit just so it's not too tight on that material. It'll be able to move through. For my tests, I figured that 100% power at 150 MMS is what will work well for this one. Now, to make this, we have the easiest option in the world, and that is to go to grid array. And grid array is going to just keep duplicating our dado lines again and again, and we can control the spacing. So this is great. We can decide, okay, I want to have my spacing be every 13 millimeters, and we can just keep multiplying this again and again and again. Make sure you only have one row because we only want to have it here. And so we're just going to keep multiplying it. Now that I've done that, we max out at 10. I'll just be able to copy and paste it from this point. Okay, I've positioned all of my dados. What I have done is I've left a gap here. There's no point in wasting the engraving time. These fingers are going to be covered over by joining the boxes together. And I've also given it a gap between where this wall is going to be, and then we also have a middle divider here, so there's no point in putting a dado slot, you know, a hair away from it. It wouldn't be used, so we might as well save on the engraving time. So while that's engraving within visual distance of me, I'm going to go ahead and sand everything down just to clean it up. I'm not trying to take material away here, and I'm not trying to you know, loosen those joints up. So light sanding just to get it clean again, and then I'm going to apply shellac. Shellac dries in 20 minutes, so it's a really easy you know, protective coating for this type of project. When applying shellac, I use a clean cloth applying to small areas, and then I take a dry cloth and wipe away the excess so that it doesn't get sticky, tacky. All right, the dados came out well. Let's go ahead and assemble everything finally. We're going to wood glue everything. Wood glue is great for this purpose. It will give a really strong bond. If you see any glue squeeze out, make sure you use a wet paper towel to wipe off your excess wood glue. Give it a good sanding on all the other surfaces that I hadn't touched yet, especially making sure that I get the last of the soot off. And then we need to add a final coat of shellac, especially everywhere that we did that sanding. All right, so to mount it to the wall, you could just screw it directly through the back of the cabinet to studs in the wall. I'm going to add it with my French cleats. So I'm adding a good amount of glue onto a cleat, turning it over, and using a brad nail just to hold it in place. You could also use screws, but just make sure that you recess those screws. You can't have them sticking out of the back of the French cleat. All right, so here it goes on the wall, easy with our French cleats. It's nice and stable, and of course we can use the top for a shelf now. I needed to wait for the construction of this to go around with my calipers and measure. And they all should be the same size, of course, but they might not be. So it's just important to understand that. So I'm at about 127.5 millimeters. And as I move it around between all the different spots, we're about like 126.5. So I'm going to probably make them 125, so a little bit small. They'll still make it inside the grooves, but we don't want them to be so tight in places that they can't move. So 125 to 125.5 for me will work out fine. For my dividers, I'm using 1/8 inch press board. This is more than sturdy enough for what we need, and it's pretty cheap material. It's only $6. So for me, I can get about 30 of these out of that $6 piece of material. The settings that we used on this one was 10 speed by 55 power, single pass with the L laser. So we get to insert all of the dividers and place in all my stuff. Now we need to cut out the drawers. It's the exact same process that we've been doing the whole time. I did add in the software 2 drawer pull holes. You can see them at the bottom there. We then sand, glue, and shellac the drawers. Since I already pre-cut my hole, that saved me a lot of time with measuring for placing in my drawer pull. Well, we are all nicely organized. It is very strong. I can put a lot of weight on here in addition to all the stuff that's already on here. That's what I wanted to do in this video, was to use thicker material that I can cut on the xTool P3. It's not playing with just this thin stuff anymore. We can actually get into real, you know, solid building type of items, especially as you saw in my last video with the 3/4 inch pine solid wood. So for this one, I like that we have the modular ability to change up our dividers as we see fit. Of course, you could even put a lot more dados in here to make it even more fine-tuned, but I find, you know, about 1 inch to 2 inches is pretty good. As far as making it look prettier, paint is number one to hide plywood lines on the front face. This is a shop project for me, so, you know, it's fine. You could also put a face frame or edge banding, but if you do either one of those, you need to make sure that you notch out your dados in that front face. Otherwise, you lose that modular capability on here. Well, I hope you got a lot of good content out of this. If you did, I hope you'll hit like and subscribe. That's what helps me out. If you're interested in the xTool P3, I have a link for it down below. It's an affiliate link, so if I earned your click on that, I get a little kickback from the company. That's always appreciated. Stay safe in the shop, and I'll see you in the next one.